Oh, hey, hi, welcome back to the channel. This is only my second video, so if you're coming back to the channel, you saw the first one. Black flies are out, finally. We finally got a decent day where I can be outside and get some work done. And I want to make a classifier. I follow on YouTube, I follow Flower Gold Wizard, Jason, and I also follow the Glacial Gold Hunter, as well as the Hip Beat Explorers. Now, the classifier that I would have wanted to build was like Jocelyn from Flower Gold Wizards. Jason built one from 3/16 punch plate, which is a round plate that he formed into like a six-sided apparatus that fits inside of a 5-gallon bucket. He shovels his pay dirt into that, shakes it, dumps everything out, which works great. It's 3/16, and he is in an area like I am, where we really don't ever have large gold, so he's looking for the small gold. That said, I could not find 3/16 inch plate in my area. I called all of the big box places. I called my local welding supply where I get my other stuff for welding. They had nothing, couldn't find anything. So I ended up going online to Menards, which is where he got his, and also where the Glacial Gold Hunter got his plate to build his, because he did build one like Jocelyn. And I happened to be asleep in my chair one night, and it was just one of these weird things where I woke up at just exactly the right time, and I happened to see on TV this guy was using a Milkcrate like this with, I assume it was hardware cloth on the inside of it, and he was using that as a classifier. And he was classifying into a jet sled. For those of you that don't know what a jet sled is a plastic sled that people use to tow behind snowmobiles, ATVs, and they use it to tow their ice fishing supplies out onto the ice. So they've got buckets and tip-ups and their bait, everything is in there, and they drive out on the ice and set up. And he was classifying into that, and I thought, that's brilliant. Because as Jason says from Flower Gold Wizards, he says everything, gold prospecting is a numbers game. The more pay dirt you can get across your sluice, the more chances you are at finding gold. And I thought, okay, and I had planned on a jet sled anyway, because if I'm gonna go into the woods to find a place to prospect, I need to get my equipment in there, and I'd like to get it in there in one trip. So I was gonna have a jet sled anyway, and I thought, that's a great idea to use. Once you have everything out at your location, then you've got your great big jet sled, and you can classify more dirt into a jet sled than you can a 5-gallon bucket. Numbers. So what I wanted to cover today was building a classifier using a Milkcrate and hardware cloth, okay, which is going to save lots of money. The sheet that I found at Menards was going to cost me $35 a sheet, and I was going to buy two because I'm also contemplating building a high banker attachment for my sluice, and I was going to use some of this stuff as the grizzly. I've since changed my mind because I'm not buying any of that. It was going to cost me almost $100 for two sheets just to buy the stuff, not counting the nuts and bolts to put it together, or the handles, or the time. So I bought a sheet, one roll of 1/4-inch hardware cloth, and I found it at Tractor Supply. I saw it yesterday at Wally World for $7 for a 5-foot sheet. Now, a 5-foot sheet, based on my measurements just now, will give you enough for two classifiers. So build two, sell one, recoup your money, and you haven't lost a thing, and you've got a cool classifier. So my next step here is to lay out my layout where I want to cut this thing. And when it comes, it's in a roll, and you have to unravel the roll. And how I found to do that, let me adjust the camera. Okay, so now all you'll see is my gut and my hands. So, and all I did was I run this across the edge of the table against the curve. Okay, and now it's straight. So measuring, and each milk crate might be different. So I want my hardware cloth to end below my handle. Obviously I don't want to scratch myself while I'm using it. So I'm going to measure up on the inside to just below the handle to right there is 7.5 inches all the way around. And this is 12 inches square. So I'm going to do, you take 7.5, I want to come up both sides. I want this to be all one piece across the bottom. And I'm going to miter the corners and see how far in this comes toward the middle. And then all I got to do is put a little patch here in this side. And I'm going to use zip ties to hold it all together. See how that works. So if you measure 12 inches and 7.5 on both sides, that's 15 times plus 12 is 27 inches. Oh, and before we get into this, make sure you read, understand, and follow all the instructions for the tools you're going to use. So this is what I think we need. I haven't done this yet, but this is what I'm expecting I'm going to need. Is a tape measure. Careful, you can pinch yourself right here. That hurts. Wire snips. Do not use this to do your nails with like you just saw me, because I'm radical. Sharpie. This is a block I'm going to use to form when I make my bends to make them crisp. Wire ties. So the first thing I'm going to do is measure out 27 inches, and I'm going to mark right there. Okay, so we're going to go and yes, I know I could follow that wire, but that felt really fun. All right, so we're going to cut this first. This is going to be our first cut. Okay, so now we can set that aside. And I want to find the middle of this so that I have an even 7.5 inches. So from 27.5, that's 16 or 13.5. Right? Right. Okay. Okay. And this whole sheet is 24 inches. So that's 12. And that's that line right there. Okay, so now we have our center. If you can see that black cross, this is the middle of the piece that we have. So we know that we want to come 6 inches. There we go. So there's that. And I can follow this. And then 12 inches from there, that one. Okay, so we'll twist this around. 6 inches from here is right there. 6 inches is right there. So like everybody else who buys a pan in a kit, I also got the 1/4 inch and the 1/2 inch classifiers that fit inside the pan and also conveniently fit inside of a 5-gallon bucket. I got those too, and they work fine. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not complaining or saying that they are not worth their time, but it's as we said, it's a numbers game, and if you're going to put a lot of material across your yeah, I lost it. Break. If you're going to put a lot of material across your sluice, you have to have a lot of material classified at once so that you can do that. And we also don't want this thing round. Like I could use a 5-gallon bucket, drill a bunch of holes, and do that. But when you shake it, a round bucket isn't going to move the material like Jason's 6-sided machine does, or how this 4-sided will batter the material inside. Okay, so now I've got my layout of the bottom of my Milkcrate done. And what should be left should be, and not 7.5, but that's okay. Oh, wait, I got it wrong. Never mind, never mind, never mind. All right, I got 7.5. I'm good. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to do some miters. Let's see. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm just going to cut. See how this goes. I thought about doing miters, and now that I'm looking at it, if I do miters, I'm going to have some pretty weird points that I don't want. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to use the straight edge to make some nice crisp folds, I hope. Okay. I could use a brake for this. My brake is hanging on the back of the barn, but I'm too lazy to get it down, so I'm just going to do this. So once I fold this up, we should have our shape. All right, so now what I want to do is to fold over my ends. Okay. I could also cut these off, I think, but I think I want a little overlap with them. There we go. There's one. am planning on building a high banker for my sluice, and I'm also planning on building a set of legs from scratch. I priced some legs for a sluice online, and they were $100 for a set of legs, and I can do that with some square tubing, some steel. I'm going to use steel. I'm going to do that with some square tubing and some angle iron, and I will show you guys how to do that. Okay, so now I've got these broken over, I can make them crisper. There we go. There's that. Okay. So this should theoretically fit. Okay, so what I see is I have metal interfering with my hands. So I'm going to take care of that. That one's good. That one's good. This one's not.
So I'm going to take any wire ties. I'm just going to use a couple of side up. What I needed more was with the miters, where the two ends fold up and face each other. All right. There. And then over here, we will give it that. There's a section where the metal is folded back on itself at the beginning of the roll. I'm sure I wanted to separate it. Okay, so I got all the wire ties I need. I'll just turn them all off. You can use, obviously,
If you want a 1/4 inch classifier, you can buy 1/2 inch hardware cloth and make a 1/2 inch classifier. So if you live in an area where there's larger gold or gems or whatever you're classifying material to find, you could use that, or you could use chicken wire if you want an even more coarse thing. So there's, you can see the wire ties in there. It's nice and flat. I can get a lot of material in there and then shake that inside my, fill this tub with water, put my material in there, shake it. Of course, my jet sled's going to be wider and larger, taller, so I can get more material in. But there's a classifier. It's not pretty, but it's going to be functional. And that's what we're going for, is something that's going to work. I don't care what it looks like if it works, especially out in the woods prospecting. So, and it's durable. You can buy like a Milkcrate at Wally World, but it's not going to be a durable Milkcrate. This came from Wilcox Dairy in Manchester, Vermont. I don't even think they're in business anymore. So I've had this around for a long time, but it's plenty durable. And it's got a whole clear base. That's what I wanted, was for all the material to come out the bottom, and so I can keep track of it. On that, we'll let everybody go. Have a good one. Thank you very much. If I've done something that you like, please like and subscribe. I'm going to be planning on doing some more content as soon as I can figure out which direction I'm going in. I also run an ice cream trailer, and so that's open for the summer, and I'll be busy with that. So I will do content as I can, and look forward to hearing from everybody. I'm sure I've done something that someone would want to complain about or tell me how to do something better. Feel free, help yourself. I got broad shoulders and thick skin. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks a lot.